Welcome, my friends, to the showdown between the Tomb Kings, who shall be led by SETTRA the Imperishable atop his mighty Khemrian War Sphinx. And today, guys, we're going to be facing off against the Last Defenders, who shall be led by the glorious, the immaculate Red-Crested Skink Chief, and I believe he's going to be on a Velociraptor. So you certainly don't see that terribly often, but nonetheless, he's very quick. He has an anti-large bonus, he has good AP values, he has poison, he has the Warrior's Crest. Perhaps a good choice to maybe snipe out some of those construct characters, Ushapti Great Bows, things like that. Now, for my build, it's pretty traditional for sure. In the front line, it's going to be a combination of Skeleton Warriors and Tomb Guard. Pretty much what you see most of the time in this matchup. Nothing terribly crazy there. Sometimes players will opt to go with the halberds instead because of the dual purpose against Kroxigors and dinosaurs and things like that, but I just wanted to go with these guys. I figured I had enough anti-large. I have 3 groups of Ushapti Great Bows. I have SETTRA, which if you cast the Cursed Blades on him, actually gives him a bonus for his large. We do also have some spears in the back, so I felt relatively safe against large targets. So front line, Skeletons and Tomb Guard. Secondary line is going to be the dreaded triple Ushapti Great Bow. Now, Ushapti Great Bows are really, really good against dinos. They can hammer pretty much any of the big threats. They can take down Kroxigors. I really think you can't go wrong with them. And it is relatively tough for the dinos to counter them, but yeah, perhaps that's something we'll take a look at in the future. But yeah, they're very, very tough to deal with for sure. So it looks like there's going to be 3 of these bad boys here in the back. 1 group of regular Ushapti here, which I just had like 800 or 900 gold left, and I was able to cut some corners and afford these guys. And really, I just don't think they're bad. I mean, yeah, their combat stats aren't the best against big targets because of their low melee attack, but pretty good at clearing out Saurus and infantry and things like that. And it's also a high mass unit, which if you cast the Cursed Blades on them, they then get bonus first large, which is really awesome. So I really like having a single group of Ushapti here. So there's going to be 1 there. And in the back, 2 groups of Skeleton Spearmen. I unfortunately couldn't afford the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, so I had to go to the discount aisle and get these bad boys. SETTRA up on the Sphinx, and for his spells, we're just going to be cycling between Phos Protection, not Phos Protection, but Narrows, Incantation of Protection, and the Cursed Blades. 2 groups of Nehekara Horsemen on the flanks to chase down skinks, do some skirmishing, perhaps give me some mass to stop some big threats coming in. And last but not least, it wouldn't be a truly Tomb Kings build without some Skeleton Chariots. So I like having these as well. One of the harder things in this matchup for the Tomb Kings is dealing with the mass amounts of infantry. So I'm talking Saurus, I'm talking skinks just swarming all over you, and that is one of the ways the dinos do deal with Ushapti Great Bows. They don't give you any good targets. It's just like in 40k, for example, if you're playing against knights, just bring a ton of crappy infantry. They're not going to get value for their big, heavy shots, and it's kind of the same school of thought here. So that's pretty much it. And for my opponent's build, it's going to be a Kroxigor smash. So Kroxigors are pretty quick, 46 speed, and if they can break through my front line, they can definitely put some hot pursuit here on the Ushapti, and they have good enough AP values to kind of crunch through those constructs pretty effectively. Skink cohorts in the front, Red-Crested Skinks. He does have the Legion of Chaqua to give some missile resist to these 2 groups of Kroxigors. Very solid stuff. And on top of that, a Heaven's Caster, very, very standard against Tomb Kings. If you get those good Heaven's Casts, you can pretty much like 1 or 2 shot most groups of Tomb Guard and Elite Infantry. And that's one of the reasons why I don't invest in the halberds, is because they often, when you're playing against lizard players, just get blasted by the wind blast. 1 second here, guys. Just got to adjust one quick thing, and we're good to go. Sorry about the creaky floor. So that's pretty much it for my opponent's army. He does have some clever girls and Colden Riders on the flanks. Clearly, they're going to be going after the Ushapti Great Bows. Colden Spear Riders, of course. Or these are actually just Colden Riders, but still, their AP values are good. Their charge bonus is good. If they do catch my Ushapti and get them in sustained combat, it's not going to be great. And same with the clever girls. That's pretty much it, guys. Let's get the show on the road and see how this goes. So Ushapti Great Bow is going to be tearing downtown, going after the Kroxigors right out of the gates here. And you can see these lizard boys definitely not having a great time, taking a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be like an instant kill. But over the course of the battle, it will start to add up. So I do a bit of a charge here with the horsemen, just trying to halt the advance of the lizards. Maybe, give them something to think about here. So we're going to be charging in. We get a decent little hammering charge into those guys, and we pull back immediately. I mean, Nehekara horsemen aren't really known for a massive charge bonus. They do have one about 26, which isn't bad. We are able to get away for the most part. We're going to probably lose about 10 or 15 horsemen there, but still. I'm just trying to halt his advance, like force some of his units forward, and really just kind of mess with my opponent's game plan here. On the other side, we tried the same thing, but he had some pretty good counter skirmishing here with these king cohorts of javelins. But now the main fighting's underway. The Ushapti Great Bows have fallen back, and we're just going to be methodically picking apart Kroxigors, just going after every unit here. And this one group of Kroxigors is having a really, really bad time. We're going to be sending SETTRA in the front to deal with the other group, so just trying to stop the frontal pressure here. And the Kroxigors, of course, are large units, and SETTRA does have the anti-large bonus when you cast the overcasted Cursed Blade. So if you cast the regular version, it's not going to give him the bonus for large. You need to overcast it. So we sent him in against those Kroxigors here, and these ones here in the center are just getting monster mashed by the Great Bows. But nonetheless, some skinks are getting in, so just using all my reserve resources, the chariots and the horsemen, to try and stop the charges here. And these skeleton chariots did hammer into the front and really shreked those red-crested skinks. SETTRA over here going to be doing the Blessed Blade of Petra, just going in pretty hard against the Legion, also attacking the Kroxigor. Some chariots coming in as well, but we do have a bit of a rush coming in here from the flank. as some of these Kroxigors are trying to get around my spears. So basically we're just doing a little bit of stance dancing, trying to get away from one another. And really the big focal point this game for me is going to be keeping my Ushabti Greatbow alive. If he can kill those, I really don't have much in this army. I spent about, what, I think like 3,000 or 3,300 on the 3 Greatbows. That is a big, big investment. So SETTRA's fighting over here. He is fighting some Kroxigors, doing good damage. He hasn't killed any models yet, but he really is supporting these Tomb Guard, letting them fight that much longer, and got some good HP damage. And plus he was also able to do some nice splash damage to the Legion of Chaqua, which is a high value unit. In the meantime, my chariots are just drifting about. As far as kills, they're up to 7. They haven't gotten too many kills, but they have done some good disruption, just sweeping across the line. And at the very least, it is occupying my opponent's attention with the Red Crested Skink Chief, who instead of going after Greatbows and other things like that, is chasing down the chariot. So I'm quite happy about that. In the meantime, though, he does get some clever girls in here, so we do respond with SETTRA using the Narrow's Incantation of Protection, which is going to give them 44% ward save against this. They do, of course, do physical damage. We pull in SETTRA himself, we pull in our reserve of Ushabti, the regular group, and we should be able to kind of bull rush these guys down. It looks like a Wind Blast over there was a bit of a miss. Didn't do much damage, but nonetheless, the idea is good. Yeah, we're just in a kind of a pit fight here with the Golden Riders, but SETTRA is going to be good here. Ushabti, though they're met against infantry, still have okay stats and should be able to take these guys out. And that's pretty cool, actually. Did you guys see that? Like in melee combat, he shot his Greatbow. I actually didn't notice that before, but that's a really cool animation. So the Ushabti with the physical resist buff didn't really take that much damage from the initial shock of these characters. Plus, Golden Riders are not immune to psychology, so if SETTRA stays nearby, we get them a little bit lower. Boom, just like that. They're going to get terror routed. So those Golden Spear Riders do get terror routed off. And the other Ushabti Greatbow just going to be falling back, shooting, using SETTRA, using my spears, and using my Ushabti to just peel any threats that try and push into the back line. Now, if he does get into the back line, basically I can just spread out my Ushabti Greatbows, I can crossfire, and that's very possible once you get rid of enough of their threats. So they can't like match you 1-to-1 in terms of like pursuit. So some of the Kroxigors have come back over here. You can see there's 8 of those bad boys. The other flank pressure coming in from Golden Riders is going to be chased off by the Nedakar Horsemen. So just using them as a sweeper unit, basically just chasing off scraps. Whenever I break something with a terror route, I'm just pulling them in to kind of deal with that. So some of the Kroxigor paddles have gotten into the back line, and it's going to be I wonder who would win in just a straight up fight here. I feel like the Kroxigors might. I mean, obviously these ones are beat up, but I wonder who would win between Ushabti Greatbows and melee combat plus Kroxigors. I mean, Ushabti Greatbows have 35 melee defense and 23 melee attack, which is pretty good. I mean, I don't know, it'd be an interesting thing to see. So SETTRA's a little bit caught up in the front line. The Red Crested Skink Chief Velociraptor has focused the instincts of his nearby lizard people and is going after SETTRA, and SETTRA's actually taking a bit of damage here. So there was a big flank pressure coming in from Golden Riders, so I did use my Ushabti summon. So I used my Ushabti summon plus my natural Ushabti. I sent one group after these guys. One group is going to be halting the clever girls here. And SETTRA, I don't need to fight this Red Crested Skink Chief, and though I could, and SETTRA probably would eventually win, I would take a lot of damage for the cost. So I don't want to do that. I just want to peel off and just save my Greatbows here in the back, and from there we can just deal with him last. He's not really like a huge threat. So as far as the balance of power goes, it is a little bit in my favor. We've been able to peel and really focus down these Kroxigors. So this one group here is at 7 models. The other one here has like 2 models left. The Nedakar Horsemen are just doing a very good job of chasing off any mobile threats. So once they've finished off those cold ones there, I will be switching them on over to these Golden Riders. More importantly, we are able to fully secure our back line. So the Golden Riders here are down to 11 models, Kroxigors down to 5. My Greatbows are pretty much full firing capacity. We have 9 models here, we have 7 models right here, and we have 9 models here. So pretty much like full strength. They are, of course, drained and tired, or the Tomb King's equivalent or undead equivalent of being tired, but they've done a very good job. Ushabti going to be surging in, just cleaving those skinks. Oh my goodness, those guys just got eviscerated. Now, these are the summoned Ushabti, and they should be able to maybe fend these guys off. I mean, these Kroxigors are very, very low, and you can see they're taking some pretty substantial casualties here. It's almost like my Tomb King's campaign I'm playing right now, where I've been using Ushabti against large targets, just kind of brute forcing it. But nonetheless, SETTRA's going to be coming in. He will cause terror. Kroxigors, I do not believe are immune to psychology, so those bad boys are going to get chased off. They are immune to fear because they cause fear, but that's something for newer players. If a unit causes terror, it's immune to terror. If a unit causes fear, it's immune to the fear mechanic as well. So just a little something to kind of keep note of there. So SETTRA the Imperishable is able to clean up that flank, and now you can see in the front the Red Crested Skink Chief making his valiant last stand. But these Ushabti, though he's good against them, they'll also be very good against the Skink Chief. Although, no, he's on a Velociraptor. For some reason during the battle I thought he was on foot, so it's not going to be as good. But we do send in the Nedakar Horsemen. We give them the Cursed Blades, which is going to give them 46 weapon strength with a bonus versus large of 16. So suddenly they just wreck these Kroxigors, they wreck the Golden Riders, and they're going to be coming in and probably breaking off that Red Crested Skink Chief. In the meantime, we're going to be using SETTRA here in the front, just going after some of these skink cohorts with javelins, chasing those guys down, and just trying to win the frontline fights, which have been won by the Lizards, which isn't a surprise, really. Lizardmen do have pretty good infantry as it pertains to, or as it compares to the Tomb Kings. So we come in here with SETTRA. We're going to try and get some terror outs. The Legion of Chaqua is pretty elite. Those guys are not going to be breaking. They take forever to break down, so I'm like, all right, let's just go for the skink. He's fully surrounded. He was taking some bonus versus large damage. In the back, it looks like some clever girls did come in as well, but they were fended off by the Ushabti Greatbows. So now you can just switch the Greatbows onto the Legion or onto the skink, but the skink is a little bit obstructed here, so we're just going to be taking some Greatbow pot shots here into the SURFS Spears, who do have the Shield of Chaqua, so they do have the 44% ward save for a moment. but now it looks like it's gone. So here comes SETTRA getting on the big old Sphinx, going to be tail whipping the Skink Chief. But yeah, with the Harmonic Convergence, he's a pretty good combatant. And I have to say, I was pretty impressed about how much damage that little Chief did against SETTRA this game. It was pretty nasty for sure. And if I wanted to focus him with Great Bows, for example, he could have like juked me out because he's very mobile. He could like go back and forth. And a lot of Lizard Lords and characters do get sniped out pretty bad by the Great Bows. But yeah, well played to my opponent. It was a really fun game for sure. He had a lot of pressure coming in with the quad Kroxigor, the double Cold Rider, and the double Clever Girl there. I mean, a lot of pressure coming into the back line. But we were able to peel it with our Shopties. With SETTRA. SETTRA is a very good peeling character. The fact that he causes terror, he can give himself bonus versus large. He's really, really hard to focus down, makes him an absolute powerhouse of a character in this matchup. And yeah, I like SETTRA quite a bit. I would say this is a relatively standard Tomb King build. Of course, you can switch it up. Like you can cut the Ushopti, cut like one, and like go down in infantry quality and get like a Tomb Scorpion as well. There's a lot of different ways to play it. But I think the triple Ushopti or even the double Ushopti is very, very good in this matchup. It gives you that steady pressure that you really need to wear down a Lizardman army, which is normally very tough to deal with for sure. But yeah, the Horsemen again, good at securing the flanks. The Skeleton Chariot's basically just a distraction Carnifex, which if they leave alone can kill a ton of Skinks. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And for my opponent's build, I liked it for sure. There's some elements of it. I like the Legion. The Clever Girls are kind of an interesting tech choice against Ushoptis. Because, I mean, they're relatively quick. They have, like, high speed. They have good AP values. They have good weapon damage. If they are able to catch, like, Ushopti Great Bows, they can actually do some pretty good damage. But, yeah, it's a cool tech option. But, I don't know. I'm still not a huge fan of Clever Girls in competitive play. I don't know. I've never really had success with them myself. I would probably switch the Golden Riders to Spear Riders just because most of the things you're going to be fighting with them are going to be large entities. So I think having the Spear Riders might be a little bit better. And the Kroxigor Smash is, yeah, I don't know. I guess it could be good. I'll have to ask some people about this because I haven't played the matchup from the other side in quite some time. But on that note, let's go ahead and do some light theory crafting about the matchup a little bit. Well played to my opponent, Head Mantis. He actually mentioned before the game, so we were in a quick battle lobby just picking armies. He's like, I've been trying to figure out how to deal with Ushopti Great Bows with Lizards, and then I just brought 3 of them. I was like, all right, let's see if he's figured it out. But yeah, it's really, really tricky for sure. So on that note, let us go ahead and take a look at a build, do some theory crafting, and well played to my opponent, the great Head Mantis, champion of AIMA. All right, so here we go. So custom battles here, and I have some good battles coming for you guys. Also, Warcraft Reforged coming soon. So let's go to the Lizard people. Not the Last Defenders. Where the hell are you guys? Lurking around here somewhere. So probably wouldn't go with any of these guys. I mean, you could go Dwayne Grock Johnson, but I think going with like a Carnosaur Lord is going to be pretty strong. I'd probably get a Saurus Old Blood on a Carno. Like, he's really hard to stop for sure. He can fight SETTRA. The Horn of Kygor is very, very strong as well. Some crazy motorcycle action going on outside as well. The Wild Hogs, they must be filming the next movie. I knew it was only a matter of time. Definitely want to get some Cold on Spear Riders. I think they're pretty solid as well. Now for the front line, probably just go like super wide with Saurus. I don't even know if you need shields. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're meaty. And then get a couple red cuts of Skinks for the flanks. These guys are just going to be chasing like Ushopti Great Bows on the flanks. 4 Saurus in the front is going to be hard. I mean, they can fight Tomb Guard efficiently. They can cut through Skeleton Warriors. I think something like that is pretty good. Now Razordon Hunting Packs I don't think have much viability at all. I just think they're just a weak unit in general. You could go with like Kroxigor Smash for sure. I think bringing maybe another big dino would be pretty good, but of course we need a caster. So I would probably get a Heaven's Caster on a Pterodon. It gets him in position for the Wind Blast like very effectively. So you're just probably going to take Wind Blast plus the Harmonic Conversions. That's going to be all you really need there. So there's your kind of caster kit. Now, I don't think we want a Stegodon of any sort. Maybe another Saurus Scar Veteran. It gets a little bit expensive. That's a big old pricey T-Rex. So basically you have like 2 guys that can potentially really chase down and put a ton of pressure on Ushopti Great Bows, on the Constructs. It's hard to stop him for sure. You have to go Fisticuffs. And the Wind Blast Saurus front line pressure, and with good juking, you should be able to kind of get around that. It almost makes me think, though, do we want to bring some sort of healing? Like a Bastiladon with the Rev Crystal? I mean, we could do that by cutting down a Saurus, but I do like having that wide front line. From here, you could even just add in like more skink pressure on the flanks and just be like really, really aggressive about it. So you could add in a couple cohorts just to kind of tar pit. I don't know. Salamanders, I'm not a huge fan of in this matchup. They don't do a ton of damage against constructs. I mean, there's always wild picks like a Colossadon Hunter type thing, but they're very squishy. So if you screw up with them once, they go down very, very quickly. And Kroxigors, Kroxigors are, I mean, I think if you build around Kroxigors, I think they can pay their dues for sure. We have 900 Gs. We have the Horn of Kygor, so we have some really, really hard-hitting potential here with the Horn of Kygor, buffing up the Scarvet plus the Cold One Spear Riders. And I guess just more pressure, yeah, on the flanks. Is there any abilities we want to cut here? I'm just cutting corners wherever I can, really. 8 leadership, don't really care for that. Little Skink Boy's good to be up here. Rolling Skies is a good buff as well. And again, we could actually just slap in something like the Cohort of Sotek. That might not be bad as like a centerpiece in the middle. Legion of Jaqua is quite nice here. It's really tough. Do we want to bring Skirmishers? Like, there's so many options. I don't know if the skirmishers are going to be super useful against horsemen. I think just really chasing is more important. So yeah, probably bring like 3 of these guys and just spend your remaining gold on chevrons. So basically what you do is you advance in the front with Saurus, red-crested skinks on the flanks, and the super wide flanks are going to be skink cohorts just chasing from the sides, moving up. So it's just like there's so many angles of pressure. And you have the Saurus Scarvet plus the Old Blood, which it's going to be hard because they're going to be taking great bow fire from 3 targets. So basically you just juke back and forth with those guys and dodge that fire as you approach. You wind blast the Tomb Guard immediately with the Skink Priest. Obviously, a lot of juking is going to be required. But if you're good at that and you can master that, you should be fine. So well played to my opponent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the game plus the post-game breakdown. And we will see you guys on the other side. Take care.